Thank you. Our next speaker will be Professor Gونترفرهويگن. He was recently serving as European Commissioner for Enterprise and Industry and was also one of the five Vice Presidents of the European Commission. He is now Honorary Professor at the European University Jadrana in Frankfurt.
Madam President Rajavi, colleagues from the United States and Europe, dear friends, since I am campaigning for the protection of Camp Ashraf and for the freedom of Iran, people ask me very often, why are you doing this? It's none of your business. It's not a European business. It's not a German business. And I'm telling them, you are wrong. It is our responsibility to care. It is a question of the credibility of our own values. And we as Europeans, we cannot claim that we have invented human rights. We cannot claim that democracy, human rights and protection of minorities is our most important export article, and simply do not look at the situation in Camp Ashraf. We cannot be neutral. We have to take sides, and we need to be aware that if we do not help people in Camp Ashraf, we support, in fact, the mullah regime in Iran. That is the consequence of it. And I am afraid that time is running out. Time is running out. The situation is critical. There is a deadline that is not yet removed, but there is still no system of guaranteed protection. And therefore, it is time for the Europeans to act. Action is now required. Action in the area of the United Nations, action in our relationship with Iraq, and action in our relationship with the United States. Exactly 2 months ago, we were in Brussels and had a press conference there where we presented a catalogue of requests the European Union should and could do. John Bruton told us this afternoon that one of these requests is now fulfilled. Special envoy of the European Union is appointed, and we're grateful for this. But I have to say, it is not enough. We want to see more. We want to see the European Union active in the United Nations and make a wake-up call here in Geneva and in New York that it is the responsibility of the United Nations to guarantee the protection of the people in Camp Ashraf as long as no final solution is found. And the first thing to do is to send a permanent monitoring mission to Camp Ashraf to make sure that nobody can attack the people there without being criminalized afterwards. So we need a monitoring. And I think it's now time for the Europeans to tell the government in Iraq that this government cannot expect the European taxpayer to pay for the reconstruction of this country and get nothing in return. What we want in return is that the government of this country respects democratic rules, minority rights and human rights. And I expect the European institutions and the member states of the European Union to make it absolutely clear to the government in Baghdad that it cannot expect further support from the European Union as long as they threaten the people in Camp Ashraf. We want a binding commitment from the government in Baghdad that it stops once and forever. Ladies and gentlemen, there is also the problem how to discuss that with the United States. We have so prominent, outstanding personalities from the United States here, and we have them at other occasions. I really wonder how many so outstanding people who served their country in so important offices? How many thousand people must show up? How many witnesses must still show up to testify that putting the MEK on the terror list was part of a political maneuver that went terribly wrong? And I really must ask Hillary Clinton, Madam Secretary, how much time do you need to recognize that this was a fatal error and that must be corrected as soon as possible? Let me conclude by saying that Camp Ashraf, of course, is part of a much bigger problem, perhaps one of the biggest problems of our time, the future of Iran and the future of the relationship between Western democracies and the Muslim world. And I want to make that very clear. This is not a problem of religion. The mullahs in Iran claim falsely that religion requires them to do what they do. There is no religion in the world that requests us, that requires us to torture people and to suppress people. Such a religion does not exist. It's not about religion, it is about their power base. And I think we must not tolerate such a system. And we have the alternative already in place. We have a democratic resistance movement here. And the representatives of this resistance movement are here assembled in this hall in Geneva. And we have to make it clear to the outside world that these people, the representatives of the resistance movement, are the true representatives of the people in Iran, and the mullahs are not. Thank you.